Hello, guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cockings.
He's kind of fun.
And today we're doing something. What are we doing, Sam?
We're going back a bit. Yeah, we're looking at a piece of historical Star Trek Online ship goodness? Question mark. This is the Cochran class from early Stowe days. We of course know that when the teams transitioned over the years, the level went up in all regard. This is from the early days, Stuart. So here we go. I've never consciously ever seen this ship before, but here it is, converted to modern render engine ness. Of course, caveat, no registries, as always with Stowe, but clearly a science Intrepid variant. What do you think of the Cochrane class from Star Trek Online?
Never seen it before, but looks like a Minecraft version of an Intrepid class. Just take the Intrepid class, box it up, and there you go. 8-bit Intrepid class.
But it's more advanced, surely.
I mean, why? Why do you say that?
After Stowe is after. It's crazy, isn't it?
It seems very 1980s video game style.
Yeah, the original Stowe design was, let's just try something and throw a few thousand polys at it. Does this do anything better than the Intrepid class? Let's start there.
No. I mean, the engine design's kind of cool, but very boxy. Yeah, this kind of feels like Armored Voyager a little bit.
At that point, I'm sure they're just thinking, how can we just do different things, right? I don't know if logic was the top of their mind. But it does feel different enough. Box is a good way, so I suppose more structurally capable, a more tactical science equivalent. Although, of course, for me, it shows how well Voyager is, how Zeitgeist lightning bottled that Intrepid that Rick did, because it's just so pretty. This is not.
Small amount of escape pods.
Which are also giant.
Yes, so if you're figuring, 8 people per escape pod, 8 to 12 people, you can kind of get a feel for how many crews on board.
There's a few on the bottom.
Probably, yeah. But
I mean, at least there's a registry spotlight in some greebly detailing for some reason. And a lot more white glows that don't do anything, because they ain't windows.
Yeah, and decided lack of detail on the top.
That is confusing, yes. Especially as that's the view you're going to see most, looking sort of down. But let's get this tour of this famous, possibly better than Intrepid once we go forward. The back view has got a shuttle bay with a weapon emitter stopping the doors from opening properly, or ships from coming out, as you do. Good job, Stowe. You did good.
A lot of phaser strips, though. Forward to back, there's 2 little ones above the impulse engines.
And very poorly textured.
Yes.
Very poorly.
Got some photon launchers at the back, at the top of the neck, and then also some escape pods. That's interesting placement for those.
I do quite like, though, the double-stepped shuttle bay into neck. Think that has a good flow.
Yeah, I kind of like the beefed up, bulked up impulse engines too. They kind of come out of the saucer section there. I like that.
Oh, I was thinking about some of the ones in the nacelles, because they're above the pylons. Yeah. Yeah, and impulse engines are giant, with greebling grills either side internal for some reason. And no windows on the secondary hull at top. Not a single one. And forward swept pylons? More distinct than the Intrepid itself, with still the...
Yeah, it's at the articulation joint there, so...
More to think about the impulse in the... Or, I guess more to connect it... Wow, they really connected the nacelles to the impulse section. How do you think?
That looks okay.
It's not the worst, no. Next view back. A lot of escape pods at the bottom, which I did notice.
And some strange ribbing on the nacelles. Almost like you could land on those. Is that what
That's
this
interesting.
is?
Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, the Intrepid can land. It has landing legs. Maybe this does as well.
And there's the giant, because it's missing the captain's yacht. Maybe that middle bit kind of goes down, like the Defiant in the recent No Decks episode, to kind of provide a counterpoint. Yeah, what do you think of giant bulky nacelles? I mean, do they speak to being armoured, or do they speak to being less detailed?
They speak to being very rudimentary and old school, like less advanced tech.
Honestly, more like the Star Trek Discovery Season 1 nacelles. Like that level of rudimentary, but with more glows.
Yeah.
And some weird RCS thrusters either side of the belly, cut in, which is interesting. And not a single detail below on the neck.
And more phaser strips on the bottom there, and also lack of detail underneath the shuttle bay. You could have added another shuttle bay door there and had like a dual shuttle bay, like dual bevel, would have been cool.
Next view, classic Voyager view with the...
Ugh.
No, well, I'll let you go first then.
8-bit Intrepid. Here we go. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the deflector. I'm not a fan of most of these general shapes, if I'm honest. And the front of the saucer detail there just seems too bulky with those side elements. I get that they're trying to do something new and different, but...
Is that... Not Sovereign. What's the ship that has the sort of bottom pontoon? Oh, the Defiant. Yeah, if you think bottom of the Defiant, that's actually very similar.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't not work, but it needs a lot of refinement.
Yes.
As in, like, conceptually, right? Like, I don't, yeah. But yeah, then you got the very basic deflector, of course, which is both styles, it feels like, the Voyager and the E. And then these giant, bulky bits on top, which need supports. Why do those torpedo launcher units need supports in the ship's hull?
Because they're super powerful, awesome mega torpedoes. I don't know.
Well, that's good. Good for them.
Sure.
I mean, it's detailed. I give them credit for a view that you're not always going to see.
And
it feels pretty detailed.
Yeah, what is with the two escape pods on this lower edge part, but nothing on the bottom of the secondary hull? Like, what? Who? What?
You can just move that texture, guys. Adds just clone and move.
That just seems like an odd placement. Wow.
But at least there's a registry spotlight at the front, which is giant. Considering the torpedo launchers are a certain scale, they're like 3 torpedo launchers width. And then you look at the real like TMP ships, there's a little strip and it's giant detail. Crazy, but let's see. Once you pull the rug under the tablecloth of the meal, how's it look? Orthographically, top and bottom. Thy sins be seen or improved?
I don't mind the top. I just hate the front of that. The front of the ship, just that with that cutout detail. It's like, just make it look bigger or something. Just extend. Don't do the cutouts at the front. I don't know. I don't like that shape. I like the back of the saucer area. I like the way that's kind of incorporated into those impulse engines. And such a lack of detail on the very top, where you expect like a bridge module or something to be. You could put Greeblies in there, escape pods. You could do something really nice in there, and it's just blank.
I mean, you could always add a Prometheus-style nacelle that pops out and separate out the saucer. I mean, it's a radical change, but there's a lot of space you could do that.
You could have an auxiliary ship like
have the Calypso or the whatever they're called. Yeah, I mean, there's almost a shape that you could imagine it comes out.
Or the Aero shuttle.
That'd be kind of crazy for some reason.
You almost got the shape there of that anyway, like a shuttle. A large shuttle, but...
kind of more like the Galaxy Quest Protector, where the top just comes off. I mean, that'd actually be pretty epic if the whole bridge module zone is a secondary craft.
Yeah.
Would be weird.
And the bottom view, those escape pod placements at the back, I don't know, what it's just seems like an aesthetic choice, not a functional choice. And it just seems kind of odd, like a Christmas tree shape. It's just...
Yeah, it's a ship for me that says we're going to have all of our shapes conflict with each other. Because look at that bottom, there's so many hard edges, but then they throw in curves, but they don't connect visually and artistically. Which is funny, because you could have thrown Kitbashi Sovereign nacelles or whatever if they were really keen just to limit new design. So it's nice it's all new, but the shapes don't connect. And I don't really mind the cutout per se, but you need to do something with that front bit. I mean, I'm not really a fan of front through hangers, but if you made the entire thing a giant hangar space, like a big door, and then you kind of you can't explain it, but it's for the sake of it.
It is funny how the bottom of the saucer, as you said, kind of has a Defiant vibe to it, with those pontoon-like things on each side and the windows facing inward.
I mean, it's the windows that get me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why it doesn't feel bad to me, but then doesn't connect to the rest of it. I also like the little blinkies all around, red and green.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
But it gets even stranger when we look at it from the front and back. Wow.
Now you're in love. Well, they are shell bays at the front, I guess. Has to be, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's why it's a cutout.
And the side view too. Just what the hell is happening right now? Oh my goodness.
It does feel like, I don't know if this is true, feels as if someone came to a Trek fan and said, hey, we need to design an armored Voyager. You have 12,000 polygons, and you have until Friday. And he kept pushing against the polygon limit to the point where the shapes he wanted to be logically smooth all had to be angled. So he committed to that and gave some angles, but then it just doesn't connect.
I'm not saying it's an awful design. It just feels way less advanced than Intrepid class. Just the blocking nature of it just makes it feel rudimentary and just kind of simple.
I really think if you were to change the texturing and tweak a few things, I would believe this was a Star Trek Discovery Season 1 variant because of how blocky some elements are. Change a few things, but just like the Proto Intrepid, that integrated saucer with blocking nacelles, I'd be like, okay, weird, but there's weirder things in that season, right?
And I would change the engine placement. I like that they try to do something different by putting the nacelles kind of on the underside of the strut, but from the side that doesn't like. It does give it a different feel, for sure.
I didn't realize those greeblies on the inner part of the non-defined ring. Interesting. Just flat greeblies. And then in this sort of view, I know Voyager has got one, but the shuttle bay at the front, or the back, sorry, is so small if you look at the overall shape. I feel like it could, because the shapes are intentionally going in. If it was just not in so drastically, the bay door would be bigger. So that now feels kind of odd in this view. Like, why lead to a point, almost? But let's look at some more weird angles. And obviously this thing is not designed for close-ups, but there you go. Kind of gives a Warship Voyager vibe with the weapons coming off.
Yeah, there's all the classic STO weapons points.
Which have disappeared, I believe. Two types of windows as well, which are interesting, actually. The idea of having the TNG style and the NX-01 style. Portholes, circles, which are... And you see the scale comparison, right? Like, they're the same window.
Yeah, just... You could take this same design and just round things out, make it more Intrepid-like. I think it would work a lot better and still be different enough. It just feels so simple. Definitely feels, like I said, 8-bit or Minecrafty.
Would you put pulse phasers in those new defined pontoons or torpedo launchers like Quantums? Because if you imagine putting 3 pulse cannons in each, 2 at the side and 1 in the inner bit.
Yeah, it would depend on the size of the ship, I think.
Unknowable based on this. Next view, though, is the back, and once again, the well-placed phaser emitter. Because as we know, as you said, Stuart, they're hard points, so that's where the game tells them they can fire weapons from, which aren't according to the actual weapons of the ship. So they had to have one for back firing arc, and they just didn't think to put it above.
Yeah, I'd hate to be landing or taking off in a shuttle and being afraid to hit that and cause a power feedback, which would like destroy the entire ship. And
be careful.
Yes.
If you fly on the ship. At least I'll give them credit. The plating doesn't feel like plating for the sake of it, which some other ships can. There's a certain simplicity to the Trekness of the plating that passes passes okay.
The detailing on the phaser strips is just so odd. It's like a tiger stripe pattern.
It ran out of everything. Next, though, is from the bottom. It shows us inset details, which look as the same detailing as the shuttle bay. So are these implied they are drop bays?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Although, given the size of the escape pods, they're only shuttle pod sized.
Well, they're for work bees, for repairs and stuff. Work bees are very small.
I mean, that would be a pretty interesting effect to have, and then suddenly this hive of that.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's do the most fair comparison of all time. The Cochran to the Intrepid. Unknown scale. Let's put them at the same size. Can you tell which one's which? Do I have to remind you? Okay.
Again. Just makes me think of my comment about the transporter emitters. But I can see what they were trying to do. So I don't know how big this ship is, but I mean, window scale size, it's pretty big.
So nice. I don't not like the bulk at the bridge zone. The fact that could be worked towards something.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, the elegance of the real Voyager. You look at the back of the tail of the secondary hull, and the polygons aren't even lining up properly. They're not even flat, and you get the lovely curve of the Voyager.
Yeah.
So they've actually almost kept the same nacelle, impulse, pylon areas.
Yes.
But now they've just moved the impulse engine onto the... Because I thought mentally they'd cut that section out, kind of. But now I've just got this big empty pylon, which... It's like, why?
Just for the sake of being different. Like, let's put the impulse thing on top of the nacelle.
But I thought it was cut in more.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they were going for like an armored Intrepid vibe. And took the basic shape and then just started adding things to it. Which is probably what they did.
Now, the side view, of course, will highlight its ness. Simple is definitely the word. Needs a bridge. Needs a bridge module. Sorely missing one.
Yes. I mean, people make the argument that the bridge should be in the center of the... be protected, and I don't disagree necessarily. So yeah, just pretend it's in the middle of this one. It's for some reason.
One thing makes Trek more interesting.
I know.
And one thing that describes me here is that right aft portion of the secondary hull, there's so many angled shapes that none of them connect organically. It's just shape. So, well, why have you done that and then that? What are you doing?
And if you'd put your nacelles attached to the end of the pylons instead of the bottom of the pylons, you could have hidden some of those sins and still had a cool enough looking ship that would look different enough.
Yeah. Now, my question, did you fly this? Do you have amazing memories of it kicking bottom, shooting the bad guys? Were you the bad guy? Don't know. Because people did play this. And I want to know. But let's end our thought breakdown on the front, which is not its best view. The new one.
Oh, totally loses the elegance of the Intrepid.
Wow, that's...
Wow. I see a lot of the things that they did. Got the RCS thrusters. You got those little greebly bits at the front, which they kind of kept but made into grills. And even the colors and shapes of the deflector.
It's like they took... They used in Photoshop to cut all the pieces off, blended it, and then because every piece was now damaged, they had to sort of reassemble it. Yeah, and this also breaks the scale for me. A lot of things now look super out of proportion.
Yeah.
Interesting. And aren't you glad you didn't fly this in Stowe back in the day? Because
Yes.
you could have. Could have been your flagship.
I surely appreciate the Intrepid class and Rich Sternbach's brilliance.
And Thomas Maroney and H. Ortiz coming in and doing some tremendous work over the years and years. And we've got so many ships where it's a case of what the small things we can say we do differently versus the Yes, there you go, Stuart. That is the Cochrane class, one of the earliest Stowe designs. If you played it, do let us know. I'd love to hear some fun thoughts about her.
Yeah, interesting name too. Cochrane class. Yeah, I wasn't even aware this was a thing. So thank you for introducing me to this, Sam. And let us know in the comment section if you knew about this, if you did fly it, if you enjoyed it, if it was one of your first ships, if it was your favorite ship. Let us know.
It would be somebody's favorite ship. Somebody.
You can imagine, yeah. So
somebody else.
You don't hate it. Just put in the comments what you think about it. And also like the video. We appreciate that. The thumbs up means a lot. Helps us out immensely. And also subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell to all so you don't miss any content, whether it be edited or live, because we like to do both.
Mm-hmm. And if you support what we do here, please do via Patreon if you can, or join the channel if you can, both monthly, and every single dollar does genuinely help what we do here. And keep bringing these old legacies to you, all the brand new ships, the Trek universe. That's what we do, both of them. It's amazing. Or one-time donations via super chatting on any live, super thanksing on any video, or buying a shirt. I'll link down below.
All the things you can do.
All things.
Until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.